Good evening. Tonight we're interviewing Dr. Stephen Proskauer, and he's the author of Karmic Therapy, Healing the Split Psyche. And Dr. Proskauer, can you tell us how karmic therapy can change our perception between death and dying?
Sure, I'd be glad to talk about that, and appreciate being invited in to come see you tonight.
Yes.
Death and dying are much misunderstood. There's a lot of fear connected with both because we don't really know in detail what's going to happen to us after we die, so there's all kinds of beliefs about it. And dying itself is perceived with a great deal of fear because first of all, we don't want to stop living, and secondly, we don't want to go through all the pain and suffering and the loss of control and all kinds of other things, losing our loved ones, that is implied in dying.
Right.
So it's got a very negative, fearful connotation, especially in our culture. It's not regarded as a step in the process of life, like birth. You know, birth is actually at times more traumatic than dying. But it's viewed as a joyful occasion rather than a sorrowful or a frightening one.
Yeah.
Death can sometimes be a liberation. In fact, it is always when you look at it from the other side. The thing that we learn in karmic therapy is what the dying and death experiences actually feel like, because we can relive actual death and dying from past lifetimes. This is remarkable, but many, many people, hundreds, have done that in my career with me in the therapy room. I haven't told them what to experience, I've just listened. And they all experience similar things. During the dying process, there may be a lot of pain and fear, and we can help them release that. But once the death thing is underway, there's a release of the soul energy from the body. And oftentimes that soul energy is carrying with it the thought forms, the final thoughts, the last feelings that the person's having. But it's liberated from fear, pain, and suffering. Because in the spiritual form, you don't have any of that. So all of a sudden, you're liberated from it into a much more expansive realm. And the sense of relief and expansiveness and coming home that people feel when they cross over from the dying experience, it's universally positive. Now, if you've gone through several past lives in your therapy, it begins to dawn on you that maybe death isn't something you have to be scared of. Because when you die in this life, it's likely to be similar.
Past lives.
Yeah. And you begin to look at your consciousness and your life in a completely different way. You're not so identified with this physical body. You begin to be more relating to the whole process of life, which goes on before birth and after death. And you become identified with your consciousness, or with consciousness in general, more than with this one little life. And then there's much less fear involved in this whole thing.
Great. Wow. That's
So
interesting.
there's a whole chapter about death and how in the process of dying one attains a kind of spiritual liberation. There's a whole chapter about it and a lot said about it in the different examples in the book.
Great. And let's tell people that your book is available at razorpages.com. And we appreciate your time tonight and sharing your knowledge on this.
Thank you for inviting me to come, and I look forward to seeing you again.
Yes, thank you.